We are ready for PGL's group stages Season 1. We've done all the qualifiers. They were pretty eventful. Now we get into the European groups. We start off tonight. It's TSM versus Kinguin first. Pretty big matchup to get underway with.
Pretty massive matchup considering they played each other in the quarterfinals of the major as well. Chance for Kinguin to get some revenge perhaps, but obviously we have got a headline bit of news here that the star strat caller for TSM is going to be missing.
We've also got the star strat caller. Okay, well, not really, but he's the coach of NIP joining us for the group stages. Natu's on board. Hello, Natu. Welcome.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm good. You?
I'm very good, thank you.
All
things considered.
I was going to say. Yeah, that's the big one there.
You know, it's warm here in Bucharest. It's, I have some nice company here.
It's really warm though, isn't it?
I know, yeah. It's very moist.
But I like it.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, it's definitely. I'm a lobster from being. Look how red I look on the TV just from being out in the Romanian weather over the last couple days. But yeah, we'll look at the tournament structure again. There are 3 groups this time around, not 2. Normally, not 2. Haha. Last time, obviously, it was all European. This time, we brought in the U.S. group. Method was the qualifying team. Luminosity, that is the Brazilians, not former Luminosity. CLG, Team Liquid, they were invited. Same goes with the EU group. TSM, Na'Vi, Virtus Pro, Kinguin. We'll see all 4 of those teams tonight. Kinguin was the qualifying team for that. And then the European group number 2, Fnatic, to be decided. Now, that's an interesting one because that was supposed to be Envious. But obviously, they've elected... Yeah, exactly. They've elected... As I just got that in my ear, I thought you were saying it, so I agreed with you. But now they don't know what I'm agreeing with.
What's the news, Matt?
Yeah, basically that they pulled out due to some scheduling issues, and obviously with a new roster, they're going to put some time into practicing. Did fairly well at the major, made the finals, obviously. So to be decided, Titan and Dignitas. That could be interesting to see who fits into that group. Yeah. That's a really good spot to have right now because that group was Fnatic versus Envious, and now it's up in the air.
Yeah, obviously. Like you said, Envious was really good last weekend, so they're leaving a huge spot there. And who would that be? Do you have any?
To jump into that spot, who would I like to see?
Who was in the qualifier? Hellraisers, perhaps, could be a good shout.
Could go Hellraisers, could go Flipside, you could go Mouse Sports.
I assume Hellraisers, seeing as they got to almost the final of the qualifier, right? So maybe they would be a good shout.
I think Mouse Sports would actually be a little bit closer,
well.
yeah. And Dorby and Gaming would be up there as well. Dorbry. I never say that one right.
Dobry and Gaming.
Dolce & Gabbana.
It all works.
It all works. So as we saw tonight, our schedule was up there. It is simply going to be the 4 teams in the first European group. Na'Vi versus VP. That's going to be a big game as well. But first and foremost, you already mentioned it. Kerrigan not playing tonight. Not going to be shot calling for TSM. Instead, stepping in. Who
else? But the king of Banana himself, Freiberg. Questionable decision to bring him in. Obviously a big fragger.
Do you know what it is? This is the start of NIP's deterioration. He's going to test the waters elsewhere.
Experimenting in other lineups.
No, I'm kidding. That's
trying to learn Danish, huh?
Yeah. I'm glad you went along with the joke. That's kind of why I said it, because you're here.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no, but again, he's going to step in. Now, the rules were as stated. You can use a stand-in so long as it's not a player playing already with another team in the tournament.
Sure. So NIP aren't qualified, so that's the reason for it. But like I said, it's a bit of a questionable decision. Obviously, they're missing the strat caller now, and now they're bringing in a Swedish player who's obviously a very good fragger, but does he fill the role that Kerrigan normally does? I don't think so.
Well, the role is shot calling.
I mean, TSM has always been a really good team of adapting and making right choices in strategies. So obviously that's going to be an element that they're going to be missing out on. I don't think Freiburg is going to be able to fill that hole.
Well, no, definitely not. But I mean, surely you'd want to get a Danish-speaking player in just to make that transfer a little bit easier. But
for sure,
is there going to be a lot more of a puck style now, I think.
Interesting as well that they went for Freiburg, who is Swedish, because we've got SK Gaming, who's Danish, that's not in this tournament. Yep. There's a lot of options there. Obviously, Dignitas qualified, so they can't use any of their players, but Cadian would be available.
Would have been the best choice.
Yeah, he's already played with them.
Yeah.
But it could as well just be a scheduling thing,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We can only speculate.
Yeah, that's true. Like. Exactly. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. I was trying to come up with a thought to follow that up, but there's really not. That's a good point.
Okay, so moving on to the Vulcan part of the show. A little bit of a rivalry between me and you, Matt.
Natu's going to come in and beat us both, I know.
So this is the part of the tournament I've been waiting for. Obviously, I've taken into consideration that we don't have Kerrigan tonight, so I haven't really picked too many TSM players. But let's kick it off from the top. I've gone for Taz to start things off from VP, obviously. He's had a great tournament recently since the reformation of VP and the change of roles. I feel like his fragging ability has come up leaps and bounds. He seems like a really strong player so far. Going in next, Bayali. Obviously, another player, reliable, consistent. You can count on him for 1 or 2 frags almost every single round. I was going to go with Neo to begin with, but then I was thinking the whole AWP thing within Vulcan. Sometimes you can gain more points by having the rifle players there. So I'm trying to spread it.
You're
across the board
learning.
like
You
that.
are
I am
learning.
slowly. I'm getting there. Okay, so then moving on to Kinguin, we've got Scream stepping up for me. There it is. Scream needs no introduction. One of the best fraggers in Europe, especially online as well. He seems to be an absolute monster with AK-47 play. If he gets rolling tonight, he's unstoppable. Headshot percentage through the roof as well.
Well, and I have a hunch that he's going to be a shot caller, but carry on.
No, you're actually wrong there. And then moving on to Dennis as well. The newest parts of Kinguin really impressed me recently. Didn't have the biggest tournament I felt at the major, but before then his form was incredibly good. Seized from Navi, another player who was one of the quieter ones for Navi to begin with, and now he's really found his form, and he's seemed to, the last few tournaments at least, he's been really impressive for me. So I'm happy to have him on board, and I welcome him to the Henry G. Vulcan squad. And then
welcome to the losing team, son. You're going to sit right here on the bench.
And now we move on to Flamey. Another huge frag. I've got a lot of big players tonight. I think I've done really well. I've spent my money wisely. Flamey, one of the young guns of the scene, explosive player, can get a lot of frags out of nowhere. You can never count him out of a round. And then moving on. So like I mentioned, TSM, I didn't want to invest too heavily in them tonight, just because I feel like without their shot caller, they may get run over on a lot of maps, depending on where the veto goes. But Cajun B for me from TSM. And yeah, he's one of the standout players for them. You always know he's going to be reliable. He's going to do well. He can pick up the AWP if needed. Very good adaptive player. So why not? He can also join the roster. And to finish it off, my shot caller is going to be Rain.
Ooh, okay.
One of the cheapest players you can actually buy in Vulcan, which still surprises me to this day. Every week he seems to be cheap, but he is one of the best players in the world right now, in my opinion.
This is interesting that you've gone for Rain.
So I'd like to bring him in just to tie the roster up there. And like I said, trying to keep away from TSM considering the circumstances.
All right. Well, I'm up next. So let me show you how it's really done,
okay,
if you don't mind. We'll start with VP. Now, from VP, I've actually gone fairly conservative. Like you were leading off with one TSM player and thinking that they're not going to do as well. I went 2 from everyone because everyone plays the equal amount of games tonight no matter what.
Sure.
So your top 2 on one team should always outdo 3 on another, in my opinion, if things go, if it's a close game, if it's not a blowout. So my thought process was from VP, I went a little bit efficient with money. I picked up Neo because he's very cheap. So he actually came into the roster really well for me. And then I went with Bialy, who is fairly consistent. But with TSM, with Kerrigan out, I actually went Device and Cajun B. Now, Device is obviously the standout player, but Cajun B, again, another dead consistent guy. So I went a little more expensive with them. As soon as I went to Team Kinguin, though, this is where I spent the big money and saved the big bucks on the big star, because I went with the top and the bottom, Scream and Rain.
Same
and yeah, like you, well, so you went
Dennis
with 3,
well,
exactly.
Yeah,
I didn't go Dennis. Dennis let me down last time, and I actually made Scream the shot caller. Before we get to that, Navi, and I went Flamey and Zeus. And again, Zeus, really good money, really good value, in my opinion. So that's my team.
Solid team. Like, I wanted to have Neo as well. Like I said, just considering it was pretty cheap, but I was trying to play the whole AWP factor there. He's not the most explosive player. He's good for one or 2 frags. I don't think he's ever going to light up the scoreboard as much as we'd like, but definitely a solid pick, and I would have had him considering other things.
I'm not really sure that I agree with TSM getting wrecked by Kinguin tonight here. You
Really?
never know, because Kinguin is a team that, you know, the way they play is very reckless. So that kind of factor could be a frag fest here coming up.
Yep.
So I picked out Device from TSM, as you guys mentioned as well. He's a huge player for them. They're from what I talked with them, they don't really have a main operator, but that's what we all consider him to be. Then I went from VP. I picked up Taz and Neo. You know, the old guys, just for the fact that we're all old.
That's purely the only reason.
No, but Taz, he played really well at the major. Yep. I felt like also Neo had a huge tournament and contributed in a big manner for them to go as far as they did. Then Michael Ella from Kinguin, he has to be a huge player for Kinguin to do well. Obviously, being the main opper, being the superstar type of a player, also a very flashy opper as well. Cajun B from TSM. For, as you mentioned, he's a very versatile player. I think a lot of the pro players actually feel as if he's one of the most underrated players. Definitely, because he is very good. He's very good. And Rain, obvious pick, very cheap. I don't know why he's so cheap. Considering
every
how
week he's
crazy, that guy.
Yep.
Headshot machine. So that was a no-brainer. Then I went for Zipnix. I felt like this could be one of those magical moments for him.
I wanted to have him so much, you know. Like, a lot of people regard him as the support player and the quiet one. But you know, right? He's stepped up a lot recently. He seems to find, especially in clutch situations as well. And sorry, you've got one more player to go. I'll go.
Yeah, let's
going
pick
off
up
on a tangent.
Yeah, Snacks. Also, VP is one of the main carries on VP, and yet again, he's a very versatile player. Shot caller, we're gonna go with Neo here.
Interesting. Interesting.
This is a curveball.
Shot caller is an
This is a curveball. I'm a lobster. Every
but
time
hey,
that comes
it's
up.
the first one for me, so I'm allowed to take a lot of
Oh,
risk.
so we're allowed to throw a mulligan in there, are we? Like, if you lose, it's nobody. But if you win, you're the best. I see how it is. That's just like the beginner's almanac. That is
You've definitely been leading the winning
ridiculous.
So far. So hopefully now.
Aside from that one time I was late for the studio and got trolled, rightfully so.
That's fair
that
enough.
One
that is
time
fair enough.
I did not win, not even close. But we'll take a break. We are going to come back. It will be TSM versus Kinguin to start things off. Best of threes for both matches tonight. Nyavi, VP, the second one of which it's going to be a good night. I have a feeling we're going to see some long games. Long maps. So. I don't know if we'll see 3 games in each series, but we'll see some high scores for both teams.
First one could go either way. It's going to be a great series. Don't go anywhere.
Do you agree with that?
These are my lobster claws.
Is that because you're so red right now? Is that the joke we're going with there? For anyone else who's just joined us, Matt decided to go driving this weekend without using sunscreen. And
who wears that?
Here's the end result.
Skin cancer. Jeez. Somebody did. Whoa, that graphic's new. I like it.
Hello.
That is
Penguin.
Like holograms.
Awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
That's magic.
So that's our first match. TSM versus Kinguin. Guys, what are your thoughts?
Like I was discussing before, I think it could turn out into a dead match, really. TSM without their shot caller, I think they're just going to have a baller. They're going to run around, try to showcase their individual skill. And, that may as well just be, it's really hard to play against a sort of a mixed team, which TSM sort of is here without Carrigan.
But is I guess I'll go to you on this one. Is
Sure.
Kinguin not like the ultimate mixed team in a way?
In a way, in some ways, definitely. But they've got that hybrid, I would say. They like on certain maps, they're very prepared. You watch them play Cash, for example. They do have all the set pieces to fall back on, so I don't think you can put them straight out there as a deathmatch team or a puck style. They've got a lot of individual skill and they utilize it very very well. But they do have stuff to fall back onto. They are well designed team in that respect. They've got Legia, who's there, kind of the mastermind behind them, calling for them, giving suggestions. And I think it's unfair to write them off as purely aim stars. I think they're going to have the upper hand here if they can get on the maps they like. And like we said, TSM are so reliant on Carrigan. He's like the brains of the operation, right? He's so good at dissecting teams. He bases his CT setups depending on who he's playing.
I agree with you, but first off, we're in an online match.
Yeah.
Maybe Kinguin's still the team, although they've now qualified for the next major, made it out of groups. Maybe they're the team that still has a lot to prove, and they'll still play for this no matter what. But there's like a grain of salt in the match in a way, like where it is online that teams might, take their foot off the gas pedal a bit. And where Carrigan's now been in TSM so long, shouldn't they have at least an idea of what the default is going to be?
Definitely, but like Freiburg's not going to have an idea of that. Do you know what I mean?
True.
So like going into the T side and stuff like that, if they get pushed against the ropes, they need to go, okay, this set piece will work really well. They haven't had time to show Freiburg everything they're doing. So that's what...
I think the problem really is when it gets close, when you need those rounds where you need a lot of structure, especially when like let's say it goes down the wire type of situation. They need to come up with an extra little trick from the book.
Yeah.
They won't have that, obviously.
Exactly.
So they'll just have to YOLO it.
Yeah. I was actually going to make a joke where you said they haven't had time to show Freiburg all of their defaults yet. I was going to say they had 16-3 on Cash to show them plenty of defaults.
It's true.
Actually, he was taking a hammer towards B on that match as well. So
Yeah, that was a rough one.
So
That was a rough one. So there it is. It's not all Danish anymore. They've got a Swedish flag in there. A man that Natu knows well. It is Freiburg stepping in for Carrigan. But other than that, Cajun Beat, Device. I mean, those two guys for me, everyone on this team plays such an integral role. It's hard to isolate two individual players. But those two guys are the guys that I always look to bring up the numbers. Zipnix, you guys already mentioned it, support player. You said he's been hot lately.
Yep, I think so. Normally you wouldn't expect him to be like the big clutch player, but he seems to be stepping up leaps and bounds recently. I don't know where he's found it, but he's been really stellar. So props to him.
And also, that kind of role player is very reliant on his team making a lot of good efforts. So it also comes down to TSM playing better, especially in the major compared to the past few matches before that.
Why is Dennis's picture so much better color calibrated? Like someone clearly took the time in Photoshop to make the black.
He always does this.
Yeah, I do. I'm sorry. These are the things that I notice in my life. But obviously, we talked about not Danish. Well, this is the ultimate mixed lineup with Rain, Dennis, Michael, Fox, and Scream. And individual skill-wise,
off the charts.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. Like Rain, for example, we highlighted him in the Vulcan picks. He's just a phenomenal player. Has a lot of skill going on for him, and especially aim-wise, he's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. So here we go. We've got the match comparisons there. We had Device versus Dennis. I think that's well, it's hard to compare those two players, really, in a way, isn't it? Like,
it is, but at the same time,
how long do you think Device practiced that face in the mirror?
why are you so obsessed with the pictures tonight? That is not the juice. We're not here to talk about the
just because he's looking like a lobster here.
All right, go back to the stats.
Sorry. So the point is, obviously, Device, I would say, if you're going to pick anyone out as the main AWPer for TSM, you'd say Device. Dennis is more like almost the entry fragger in some ways. Goes on, he's very reliable. Mid-round frags, he's always there as well. But having a look at the stats across the board, you can see that Dennis slightly has the edge in some of them kills. He's got the overall advantage there, 20 to 19.9. Headshot percentage, I think that's always going to be Dennis's in his favor. He's not the AWP player. Entry kills, again, he's going to be going into the bomb site a lot more times first than Devices. But
I think for Dennis, it's good to point out as well how long he was away from the game, and he's just only recently gotten back, and how well he's been doing, all things considered.
Yeah,
I think he can only improve from this. He's going to be great. I think he's going to be a huge player down the line.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think I never really saw that much from him before he joined this lineup, and then he's just impressed me every single game. I'm like, okay, this guy really has to be taken seriously. He's one of the stronger players definitely within the lineup.
Well, I think both these teams have been interesting stories throughout the year. Obviously, TSM's finally gotten over their monkey on the back of being a choke. Sure. Won some championships. They've trailed off a little bit since, but Kinguin obviously formed during the year and now are actually a contender that are in my opinion, the ultimate dark horse. No one can take them lightly. We saw what they did to Cloud9 now. There was always that potential, though. That's my point, right? Like, Cloud9's been playing so well. The 5 tournaments leading up to the major, they were the most consistent team, and then look what Kinguin can pull out of their pocket when they have to. For me, if they can get Legia in on the coaching role, if it actually starts to work, and if their communication, which Michael Lele said himself was a little bit lackluster, if they can get that together, man, this team could be insane.
Well, it goes to show you, they got to the last 8 of the major. Like, that's, 6 months work. That's pretty impressive stuff. Like, we knew how good they were going to be. It's been a difficult road for them, losing players and kind of changing the lineups and stuff. Well, changing the roles within the team. Fox doesn't get enough praise, in my opinion. I feel like he's a player everyone kind of slates.
He's the scapegoat.
Yeah.
Every team's got one.
But, like, he went from being the best player in Portugal and the best AWPers from that scene, and now he's the support role. But I think it's a role he plays very well. He doesn't. It's not like he does it badly. He holds the positions that aren't the most glamorous per se, but he always seems to get 1 or 2 frags there. He's solid for them, and that's what's good about him. He plays that role very well. He's accepted that role and just embraced it.
And actually, Michael Lele, going back to him, said on a forum post, "Stop scapegoating on Fox. He's doing his job. He moved back into that role so I could pick up the op again, and he does it willingly." Let's take a look at the maps, though, because this is actually interesting, because we've had some differing opinions on how this could go. In fact, we've had polar opposites in a lot of ways.
Okay, then. So, first map, D-Train. That is interesting. A map we know TSM can be very strong on, but obviously without the strat call, as we mentioned so many times before, got to be a difficult one. Dust 2 is where it gets really fun, though, because obviously that's a map we call Kinguin being one of the best teams in the world, but definitely got shut out at the major through TSM. They didn't know how to get it to break the defenses down to TSM. Like I said, Carrigan is so good at dissecting teams, especially their T-side approaches. He knows the exact setup he needs to do to lock them out of the game. And you saw Kinguin working up the catwalk area so many times, not even able to find a frag, which they rely on. If you lock them out of that and don't even give them the opportunity to kill people, then they look like they're almost lost in the map somehow. So this is going to be interesting to see whether TSM without Carrigan can bring the same sort of results and that stifling sort of CT setups. But then we move on to Inferno, which I don't think is going to go to. I think this one will be over in 2 maps. So, and
you think for Kinguin?
I think 2-0 Kinguin, just down to the fact that we don't know how much input Carrigan has to it, and I think it's a lot.
Yeah, but this is what I think. It's a pure coin flip here. It's very hard to call. It's right after the major as well. Like we were talking about, players may tend to sort of ease on the pedal after a major. So I think it could be a good old brawl we have ahead of us here at that match, where people are just gonna go nuts, and we're gonna have a lot of highlight kills around across the board, basically. But if it goes down to if it would go down to the third map, I think that's when TSM would struggle the most, because Inferno is a map where you need a lot of structure. Even though they're obviously a good Inferno team, but without Karrigan, I think that's the map where they would struggle the most.
I'm pretty sure that's their first go-to veto normally for TSM. If I remember correctly.
Say what?
I think TSM's go-to veto is Inferno normally.
I don't know if I agree, because last season that was the map they beat Fnatic on the most consistent.
It's Cobblestone is their go-to.
Yeah, I think that's correct. Because if you look at just looking at PGL last season in specific, when they had to play the best of 3 against Fnatic in Group B, as it were, then to qualify immediately in, TSM beat them hard on Inferno, and then on Cobblestone they got slaughtered in the second map. And they looked confused, to say the least. Like, to put it politely, Cobblestone was not their map. But here's our predictions. So EGB, it's 1-4 odds favoring TSM. So they're with Natu and I never actually mentioned it, but I think this should be a 2-0 for TSM based on the maps. So Henry, you're all by yourself.
So you guys both think 2-0 TSM?
Yeah, CSGO Lounge also agrees, because 76% of the people on there think that TSM is
crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, those odds are pretty crazy, to be honest with you. I 76 for TSM. I mean, I wouldn't probably say 76, more like maybe 55, 45. Considering all things considered, I'm not really sure if everyone's aware of the situation, and they've probably gone into.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's
right?
true. That is true. It's consistent over all 3 though, because there's esports gaming now as well. But here's the big one. This is hltv.org. Okay, I thought this was going to be Twitch. I hyped it up. But HLTV, so this is actually off their website on the match page. 58-42. A lot of people on that website that obviously think they know a lot, watch a lot of games, and a lot closer. But there's Twitch chat. There's the one that's always different.
There we go. Those are my boys.
Yeah.
The Kinguin backers.
Way to go, Twitch.
There we go. They know what's going on.
Yeah, too bad they're wrong. So, anyway. Yeah, so, okay, let's start us off then. We saw Train his first map without Karrigan T-side. My theory is that Device typically is the one that steps up and finds the entries on this particular map. Do they still need Karrigan to call default smokes?
What I'm thinking is, the main point is, we saw Kinguin go against Mousesports, right? And they actually beat them with a Merc themselves against Mousesports, consider a very strong Strain team. So, going up against a weakened TSM, they will have, like, Freiburg obviously knows smokes, right? It's not like he doesn't go, oh, I don't know how to go smoke. He will have them in his back pocket, but it's just not going to be as clean. It's going to be a lot more pug style. They will be able to do some executions and have him kind of being the last man, but it's just not going to be as crisp as it normally would be. I think they may struggle if Kinguin gets the momentum in their favor. So that's why I'm going with, I think Kinguin are a strong training team. They can be very, very good on this map indeed. And we'll see. Like, I actually think Fox is one of their strongest CT players on this. He plays the outside role really well. He, like I said, he's good for 1 or 2 frags, and he can lock down T pushes quite well with aggressive play. But it looks like we will be going into the game very shortly. Obviously, there's no knife rounds in this, is there?
There's not. So whoever picks the map, it goes to the opposite side to pick the side. You know what I mean?
Yes. I think that's what
phrasing.
It.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So it's the same way that it worked basically at the major, for those of you who tuned in for that this past weekend. Whoever did look at this, I'm tired of being a lobster. I thought we were going to stay in game. What happened? Watch this. It's
not working in that angle.
Wrong angle, dude.
Oh, whatever. You got the point.
Taking the most of the moment.
Yeah. No, but okay, so it works the same way as the major did. Whoever picks the map, the other team, unless we get to map 3, and then it's a knife.
So we will see TSM starting on the T side, which is where they will struggle the most. If Kinguin get like 12 or 13 rounds on the board, it's going to be too late for them to even get onto that CT side. So that's why I'm going 2-0.
But I mean, Train, you can still do pretty well with a pretty standard set of things. There's certain smokes you need to know that you can do from various angles. I know a lot of these players know a lot of different smokes, so they can just do a lot of things on the fly as well. I still do think there's potential for them to get rounds on T side, but it'll come down to them preferably picking up the pistol round, and then if they even get the first weapon round, then I think Kinguin is going to be in a lot of trouble. But at the same time, if they don't get rounds early on, TSM, that is, that's when when the situation of not having the short caller playing with you is going to be an issue.
I think they're going to struggle to get those opening picks. Like playing the pick style, you need to have synergy within the team. You need to have the roles defined, the timings down, the faces, where you're smoking of key choke points. I think they will fall back to the set pieces, like the wall of smoke sort of plays. And I think that's where Kinguin will mess them up, because they'll be aware of that. They'll be able to read when those plays are coming. They'll be able to push certain angles and just pull this team apart. That's why I feel it's going to come into play.
The reason I think the TSM still have a chance on Train, obviously I've gone into full ponder mode right now as I look to the sky and cross my arms. I think the Train still has some rotation issues.
Yep.
And where they are a tactically disoriented team, I guess you could say, in a lot of ways, that's still kind of their issue. On the CT side, if the smokes do come out for TSM and they can find a way to utilize even a fake play or Ivy to pull someone away from the site, I really think that there could be some calm issues with Team Kinguin if they don't get the early pick. If they get an early pick, I think the CT side should be theirs every time. Yeah, but my thought is just that they could easily trip over themselves.
Yeah, I do agree. I've heard people actually commentating on our dropping a comment about Kinguin's communication when it comes to rotations, and especially situations where there's fakes coming in and stuff like that. That's when it gets really hectic, and that's where issues usually arise for Kinguin. So, yeah, if TSM can pull out their fakes and pull them off well and sell them well, obviously is the first things first. Yeah, I think that could really spell them trouble.
There's a lot of speculation tonight. That's the main thing here. We don't know what's going to happen. Like, we don't know how drilled they can be with Freiburg, whether they want to give him too much information on their sort of setups and what they do. But obviously, he is a rival at the end of the day. You don't want to go on the stand and say, this is exactly what we do. This is how we do it. Can you do this? It's probably a difficult
but
decision,
TSM
right?
are going to look at that and say, we're tier 1 and NIP is tier 2, so really it doesn't matter if they...
Anything to add to that?
Hey, bud. I'm going to get shot. Like, Natu's putting up with this, but I'm going to, like, run into Get Right and Forest in an alley some night at an after party, and that's it. I'm done. Done. I'll just vanish. There won't be any news reports or anything. I'll just vanish as a caster, and no one will ever know what happened. Yeah, but if it hasn't happened to Thorin yet, I got a ways to go. I'm good to go.
Fair enough.
So I'm trying to log onto the server. I can't join in the banter right now.
So, yeah, we do just have a really, really small server issue when they joined in, so we'll just get that sorted out. So we've got a bit more time to talk about it then. So let's preview it. Let's say we get to Dust 2.
Okay.
Let's skip over Train right now.
Sure.
Dust 2, CT side. Typically speaking, Kerrigan's the guy that plays long, gets inside the pit, sits there, waits, allows Cajun B, gives the confidence to Cajun B to rotate back up toward car or platform, wherever he wants to play Cat, and then Zipnik supports. Freiburg's now going to be there. That's not his normal position.
Well,
how do they change this?
This is the thing. Like, will they force him into positions that Kerrigan will play, or will he just be trying to play as well? Will they trying to base the lineup composition based around him? What would you say?
Probably will. Just put him in where Kerrigan usually plays, right? He's played that position before, though.
Okay.
A while ago, though.
Yeah, but I mean, he's played a lot of Counter-Strike, so.
All right, you're okay. All right.
He should be all right.
Yeah,
Come
you're
on.
right. Okay. Yeah, no, that's true. He's definitely played it. That's one of the things that I always say is that every player should know how to play every position, but how comfortable or how savvy they are at it is another story.
And it's just the way you can mentally approach a game like this, where you're going to be playing as a stand, and you're not gonna stress at all. You're just gonna go all out and play and have a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's no pressure, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay, we're in this situation. Let's make the best of it. We've got a very strong player coming in as fifth. Not a bad replacement whatsoever. So if we win, we win. So I guess that's a good point to mention as well. The pressure is definitely in the park of Kinguin. If they lose this game, it'll be a bit of a upset for them. But
I'm excited for all these series, regardless. I mean, we saw some one-sided matches in the qualifiers. We saw some interesting matches in the qualifiers. But I really do think this group in particular is going to be dead even. So it's going to be a pretty amazing night of Counter-Strike, I think. I think the Navi VP game is going to be dead even as well.
Yeah, I think so. That's going to be a really fun game to cast. Two teams playing very well at the moment. Both got to the last day of the major as well. So a lot of information. That's the thing about these things. Everyone's given everything out in terms of their strat books in the last tournament. So everyone's going to be aware of how everyone plays. But it looks like we are going ready to go into this one. So like we mentioned, TSM are actually going to be starting on the CT side, which is not what I predicted before.
All right, well, are ready to go. And TSM, like you say, starting out on this CT side. Gonna play a pretty standard formation with the pistols so far. Meanwhile, the bomb and pistols for the T's all heading in through the upper hallways. But do they take the stairs or the ladder? That's the better question. Looks like it's going to be on toward the stairs and now on the ramp, as already Rain's going to drop out that initial smoke cover off the alleyway. There's still an opening at upper. Cajun B's going to watch over that. And meanwhile, though, Kinguin's already entered. They're going to push Rain forward. He's got a chance now to take down Cajun B. Zipnix responds with a nice nade on Fox, so it is a trade. But the problem is that Rain is so far forward, they have to deal with him before they can even go for the official retake. And so far it's working out, though, because Zipnix has picked up 2, but Scream comes right back. Headshot Master takes down Freiburg, the foreigner to the team, and now it's Dupree. It's left down to just Michaelele against both he and Zipnix, who's already defusing. And Michaelele knows it. Good shot, finding him in the smoke. It actually works out because does he have a kid? He does have time. I think he's still got this.
Yeah, he's still got that, definitely. Nice little play there from Michaelele. Did whatever he could to try and get that last frag. Obviously, the last man remaining. Oh, we get balloons today as well. That's interesting.
Is this a new update?
I think it's for the 3-year anniversary of CSGO. Just to break that down a little bit.
That's amazing.
We saw them, instead of doing the inside rush, they delayed it a little bit, waited for the CT reaction, saw if there was any aggression, threw some decoy towards the Ivy area as well, and then they smoked inside, went down together, got the bomb down importantly, but a nice retake from the CT team, got them the defuse, but we can see now the T's actually opting for AKs next round, so not much being purchased this round. They're going to get some Glocks, CZ there, and a P250. So looks like they're actually going for an execute outside though. 3 smokes in hand. They just want to get the bomb down again. Just so they go into that next round of a bucket load of cash.
Flash is already off on Freiburg, so interesting to see him push up so aggressively. He actually allowed 1 to pass by, but still caught Fox. Fox would have been slightly less aware of that, or less expectancy for it, as his teammate had made it across so clearly, and that allowed him to get the bomb down, though. That's a big thing for Kinguin here. So very swift round for TSM. Not a lot of health lost, but money for Kinguin.
Well, that's all they wanted, right? And the CTs are more than aware of that. You can see them getting no SMGs whatsoever there. They're making sure they get the rifles. They're preparing for this buy. The balloons, again, Matt's loving this tonight. Yeah, they didn't even see this coming. What a treat for the young man.
Oh, my God, it's a brilliant day. This is what happens when I go to the mountains with the shepherds for 3 days. I come back and there's balloons.
Well, we can see now the AK full buy here. They're looking very strong going into this round. Obviously, the CTs having to stick with 2 Famises there. They don't want to upgrade that. They want to make sure they have money going into the next round, but lots of utility for the T's to play with. Now, we saw a full execute outside last round. Whether they'll go for something like that again, considering they got the bomb down so easily, yet to be seen. But it looks like they'll actually be going towards inside. Once again, all 5 players there, so this suggests they have to do something pretty quickly. They've got no presence on the map whatsoever apart from inside now.
Look at Zipnik's position. Aggressive, smoke out in the doorway, but enough for him to see when they cross. Now a nade, that's going to do damage. Look at those health bars just dissipate. 51 left on Rain. Dennis didn't take a lot from it, so he'll lead the charge, but it's not a stampede. It's more of a tiptoe. Throw out the Molotovs, the flashes, everything, but they're countered, and the flames are actually reaching up above, so they will take down damage on Dennis. That's everyone now damaged. As Rain, he elects to walk through it, left with 25 HP. Immediately onto Zipnix, gets the initial shot, but not able to take him down. It's Dennis to respond. So far the first gun round stays even keel. It's 4 versus 4. Cajun Beat gets caught out. Nice shot. Michaelele with the AK. The scout unable to do much at all. 3rd straight bomb plant now for TK, but it's Freiburg, the stand-in, who's come around the site, and he's caught off the bomb planter, and Fox. Scream's still alive, though, always a threat. Has 2 to contend with, and again, smoke out to go for this initial defuse, and Scream, he has to read this perfectly. And he's worked his way around, but Device has read him better. It's now going to be TSM with 3 and the first gun.
So a pretty sloppy execution from Kinguin now, I'm afraid. They actually started nading themselves and then got delayed with the Molotov going down. They had to wait about 4 or 5 seconds without going into the bomb site. It's very telegraphed as to what was going on. Had they not got stopped by that Molotov, they could have actually had a decent chance of getting to the side. The bomb did go down again, but a successful retake from TSM makes that 3-0 in their favour. You can see the money again. They can justify a quasi-buy here. They can get their deagles, some armour. Not much in terms of the actual utility. They've got the pistols to play with. I assume they'll just be doing something pretty quick, trying to get a couple of kills here, but this should be a pretty clean-up round for TSM going into the 4th one here.
It will be Dupree that's just going to check out toward Ivy. 3 players already in that position, and the first is found. Dupree swift to act with the initial nade damage. Now the headshot, a second and a third. Dupree, beautiful spray control. As the M4A1, never mind the reload, he's got all kinds of bullets, just enough to take down everyone. How pretty it was. It's left to Scream, who does have a deagle.
And the bomb.
Very important to note. Could be pretty. So careful. It's almost too quiet, isn't it? Trying to get down here and do what he can. Dupree is low after that initial exchange, so potentially could knock an M4 to the ground. I love how a Zeus just got shot
Yeah, the Zeus
off.
flies out balloons as well at the moment.
Oh, that's why everyone's going to waste money on it. So never mind the economy game. Device, nonetheless, will close out the round.
Okay, so 4-0 in favor of TSM. This is actually looking pretty promising for TSM now. Like, we see the buy coming out. Michael picking up the AWP. He can be very influential with that. He's got a decent spawn as well. He could just go straight up main and go for the pick. Challenge Cajun, who's the other AWP player. Be interesting to see the setup from actual TSM, whether they actually opt to have the AWP inside. It looks like they may be taking it towards Ivy though, so he will be challenging at the start of this round, but will they be going aggressive?
Michael looking to try and find an entry with that off, but perfectly timed Molotov will push E and Dennis back, but Rain gets caught, so things get a lot harder, and now Cajun B is going to take down Scream. Well-placed shot with that op, and TSM again just winning all of the battles. The first gun, now maybe the second. As Freiberg will eventually drop down to Fox. Inside the cubby, but look at Device's crosshair. He knows exactly where he was. He won't even need to find him because Dupree's already lurked around the back of Green Train. And Dupree's made his way into the upper halls as well, so full flank mode for him, but Dennis still inside the site. Bombs down over toward the main entrance, and they'll have to go back to recover that at some point, but meanwhile, he just wants to cover off all the angles, try and open something up, and he realizes as his teammate goes down that they're still on top of the site. As Sechi turns back and takes down Zipnix, but it leaves him alone, 1 versus 2, and we already mentioned Dupree's position going for the flank. Well, he's arrived.
Very simple execution from Kinguin there. I think they just wanted to get out quickly, see what was available to them, but it seemed like TSM didn't really have any sort of challenging plays against them though. All the frags that we saw were just simple spray downs, nothing really too challenging for them. So Kinguin not looking as strong as I'd have hoped going into this terrorist side. We can see the economy is not great for them as well. They are actually going to get 1 AK there, some CZs and a Tech 9 as well. Again, getting the armor inside. Once you lost 5 in a row, you have the maximum loss bonus. And they've got no utility play as well. So Dennis purely going to be going for the frags in this situation, but the CT playing very passively now, just trying to work out what's going on.
But this is the same approach again from Ladder. Not the same response to get the Molotov out early or of anyone peeking it. So this lets Dennis move up closer and knock by Freiberg. Lets Cajun B turn his attention back to take down Scream. But they still got Dennis just waiting it out inside the site, hoping that someone on TSM gets impatient. That player is Device, but Device's aim comes out supreme, and Dennis can do no more. Fox will get 1, but it's Cajun B. Triple in the round, and Zipnix to close it out.
So some decent frags there from Kinguin, got through on the board, but ultimately that is another round in favor of TSM, 6-0 now. So now we have another full buy. Michael once again getting the AWP. We didn't see him have that much impact whatsoever. He's only on 2 for 6 right now, going into the 7th round. And he's going to have to try and step it up here. Their picks haven't been great so far. They get out into the bomb site, they lose a couple of frags, and then they answer back. They need to start getting that opening frag to see what they can do with it. But Michael, once again, he's actually not going to be going straight to outside this time. He's holding the inside area to see what is available to him. But the CTs, actually, we can see Dupree getting a little bit more aggressive towards the Ivy area this time.
A nice overhead shot of that outer site. Things slowing down. They have to. They can't find anything right now on Team Kinguin. Maximum loss round bonus, but it won't matter. The bombs were coming initially. Now they can't even get close to the bomb sites. So they're going to try a different approach as that bomb heads out toward Ivy. And it is Dupree that again waits at that alleyway. He's at the cubby this time. Just off to the, I guess, left on entry. His right. We see him now go for that flash, and it's perfectly timed. Wow. He takes down 2 again. How perfect has he played that alleyway so far? And again, Zipnix, you said he's been hot lately, playing that support. Well, he just comes out with another mid-round frag just to make sure he locks things down. And it's left to Dennis, and unfortunately, Dennis you're not going to be much of a menace.
I knew you were going to say that.
I'm getting predictable.
That was such perfect play from Dupree. We talked about that timing being a huge factor going into this, but that flashbang couldn't have been more perfect for them. Kinguin looking like they're the unprepared team going into this. After getting that initial frag, you'd expect them to capitalize on that, kind of abuse the CT setup. They waited so long and allowed them to actually get picked apart in the aggressive play from Dupree. So, got to question yourself, what's going to go on here? We can see Dennis has picked up an AWP, but he obviously has to save it. 10 seconds remaining, no bomb. He's trying to save it. The AWP hasn't done much for them, to be honest. No picks whatsoever. Once again, we can see Michael still on 2 for 7. And if they're going to use that AWP, I think they need to be taking it towards areas like ID, trying to push, find out what Dupree's doing that round. But this could be interesting. That no-scope, and he will survive. But interesting into that round there. But they have got the AWP. Money isn't great, though. They could force up here. They could get AKs. Maybe one player has to play Galil. But I think they should be okay across the board. Let's see, Fox there is considering his buy there. So Michael once again with the AWP, but now this is where it gets hard because TSM actually go into this round with a double AWP setup themselves, and this becomes really scary on train because it means you can have one anchor inside the B bomb site, one towards outside as well, and it like almost becomes a impenetrable fortress at that stage because they can just do so much with those rotations. But here we go then. Dennis now opting to show some more aggression inside.
They've tried this before. We saw it on the pistol round. They got a bomb down, but the retake was swift. We saw them do it on that first gun round where you said the execution was a bit sloppy. They naded themselves, and the Molotov completely shut them down. We'll see if they can make it more effective this time. So standard smoke on upper, that limits the shot that comes against them when they enter. Now they can focus just on top of the bomb site, exactly like that, as Dennis comes through and takes down Zipnix. Scream's just going to watch ladder. That won't allow a flank rotation, but TSM, they might not necessarily want it. They've still got one player lurking inside the A site, but the rest have rotated over toward B. In fact, now the last player will join in through Z connector, so it will be a direct retake. But good post-plant positioning right now for Team Kinguin in upper as well as the alleyway. But TSM still fighting in, and it's Dupree again with another double kill. And M4A1 is working perfectly for him. Michael not able to hit the first shot, and he pays the price for it as Cajun B takes him down, but Scream, he'll compensate. Taking down Dupree, but he's gone. Another retake for TSM.
Nice
and it's gone. It's going to go the way of Kinguin. Yes, it is. Okay.
So it all came down to that initial frag that time. The execution was a lot cleaner. Got in. Dennis gets the headshot. And when the bomb goes down so quickly in that situation, that's the trouble with playing one player towards the inside side, because as soon as the bomb goes down, the retake's so difficult. And although TSM did very well, Dupree picking up another two big frags there. It was just too far gone at that stage. You can see him coming in here. And these are the frags he got onto the side, but at this stage, the bomb was just ticking so fast, and Scream just had to find one frag, which he did, and gets in their first round on the board. So this is where it puts Kinguin in a pretty difficult situation. Obviously, the loss bonus gets reset after this round, so they want to make sure they get this one on the board just to get a couple rounds strung together.
So Freiberg playing up toward the E-box. He's been the aggressive player in that outer sight throughout the entirety of the first 8 rounds. Looks like the 9th will be no different, as Device and Dupree, they're going to team up on that alley, and it works again. Dupree has been unstoppable in this position. Scream, though, there's his headshot. It's one down. That's Device, but again, it's Dupree that's still alive, and right now he's the hot ticket.
So now, 4-on-3 situation. You see the bomb is towards that T-spawn area. Doesn't really seem like there's much objective here so far. Just holding up and seeing what's available to them, but in terms of what they can do, it's getting down to the pop dog area. Occasion B does take down Merkulele, and now it's going to put it on a 4-on-2. 45 seconds on the clock still. They do have the bomb in hand, but the Seeking playing very passively now. They're going to make their way out of pop dog and see whether there's any kills available. And Dennis has been great at the entry frags. If anyone's going to find it, it's going to be him.
He's definitely been the man to step up so far. In terms of frags, he leads his team with 7, make it 8 now as he takes down Cajun B. Zipnix gets the response. Another player who's been solid tonight, 9 kills for him, but it's 12 for Dupree, who leads the way. For anyone who's keeping track, as Scream wants to work back in, has the bomb and a chance to plant it, but not with Zipnix waiting for him on the ramp.
So that's the nightmare round I talked about. If Kinguin lost that one, they get $1,400 each going into next round. So now I wouldn't even suggest them getting the Tech 9s on the board. They need to start getting some money together before this is too far gone for them. So a full eco expected here. Probably just 4 Glocks as well. Just rushing inside, trying to get the bomb down once again. That seems like the only logical option they have here. You can see they've got a couple of P250s on board. Scream has got a smoke grenade, so maybe they'll just smoke down the lower ramp and just try and get out together. But let's see how they approach this one.
So Freiburg's going to get immediately underneath the ladder this time, which is a bit more peculiar as well because he hasn't gone this aggressive, and he's going to get super aggressive, spots them.
Okay.
I'm not sure he meant to get caught. I think he wanted to peek that and fall back down a little quicker, but perhaps jumbled his movements. Nonetheless, his teammates, well, they jump in and do the rest of the damage. Device eventually will go down as he's run out of ammo, but look at Zipnix. He's just going to jump on this opportunity to push up, take away the map control as soon as they come back down this ramp, knowing that ladder's a problem. He's going to be waiting. First shot successful. Almost whiffed on that, down to 45, and as a result, that is going to be Rain that gets them on the second chance, but it is just Rain remaining, and it's KGB that's waiting for him with the AWP.
So we saw what Freiburg was trying to do there. Obviously, he knows the economy, knows it's going to be very low money. He wanted to harvest some of that cash with the MP9 there. But going up that ladder, got taken down. Obviously, gave a lot of frags away. They probably shouldn't have gone there. They probably should have played passively and forced the bomb down. But
Can we just look at that giant green bar and the tiny red one for Dupree? 12-1 right now.
that's pretty sick. 9-1 as well. This is looking really strong for TSM. And it seems like Kinguin, again, going to be without getting the bomb down that round. Another full eco from them. 4 Glocks, 1 P250, and no utility as well. It's going to be an almost complete throwaway round for them. What can they actually do to do anything? Like, they're obviously getting the bomb down is amazing, but that's the first frag. KGB taking down Michael once again. He's having a very quiet game. 2 for 11 for him. But the T's looking almost out of options this round. Going to have to just try and run out somewhere together. Hopefully just go frag for frag with someone and maybe get a bomb down in that sort of situation. But
I like the cheeky strafe jump across the top of the ladder as well, just to bait out that initial shot from Device. It works. Now they look toward the stairs in the inner bomb site as a result. Just information gathering.
There's only so much information you can gather when you've got 3 Glocks. There's not much you can do with it, to be honest, but
You can get a bomb down, maybe. Zipnix has to push, tries to push. He knew what was happening, but as a result, Dennis caught him in the act. So there's your 3 Glocks, but now the retake. And could Kinguin do the impossible with the Glocks? Not if Device can do that. Almost gets taken down as he gets tagged up quite severely, down to 37 HP. Baits out that defuse as he looks for the last player. It's Dennis, but he needs to be careful because Dennis actually found Dupree. And he was looking to take the shot, but thankfully Freiburg caught him.
considering the buy, they've done
Hooray!
amazingly there to get 3 frags, a bomb down, and almost kill Device as well there. That was actually pretty cool. But here we go again then. The AWP out once again. We talked about Merkeleli being very quiet this game. Hasn't had any impact whatsoever, to be honest. 2 frags and within 12 rounds is not anything to write home about, I'm afraid. But 10-1 in TSM. Obviously, they need to find some frags now. Double AWP setup. I thought this might happen, actually. So Fox has got the AWP as well. So they're going to go right back to a pick mentality here. They're throwing the tactics out the window. They just want to see what's available to them, hold the angles for as long as possible so you can get the first frag. I'd imagine they'd send Fox towards the inside bomb site, maybe. Michael towards Ivy. That would make the most sense, but let's see how they've gone towards this.
Wow, they've dropped that bomb in a safe spot. Now they've got a pick, and it is going to be Freiburg again, the aggressive player. So man advantage. I want to see Kinguin take advantage of this. They need to find a way to do so. That's going to help. Now Cajun's gone, and Cajun B's been holding off that outer site like a menace. And Michael, you said he wasn't finding his shots. He's hit everything so far. The double op setup, we've only needed the C1. Device is going to swap away from his op, get back to the M4, flash himself through the smoke, and down the alleyway. No, he's still in the cubby. He actually hasn't gone forward that far at all. He'll switch back to the AWP, having not found anyone up close. But Device immediately caught having done that to Fox. So now both ops have made a presence. 2 apiece, in fact, every single kill. Zipnix is the last alive.
With those frags they got last round, they could actually break the CT economy here. Those last 3 frags they got in the eco could be very important. And I think Zipnix knows that as well. He'll probably want to be saving his gun. Just taking a look at the economy, a lot of players pretty broke in the CT camp. So this could be the chance for Kinguin to capitalize and actually get some momentum put together.
Oh, Zipnix needs to hit that shot. You don't give Scream that long to react. Now he's got problems as well. Goes for the reload. I thought Dennis, before he turned to his left, might be a little closer. It doesn't matter. Dennis will find it. And you mentioned it. Economy is going to be a problem now for TSM. It's a salvageable half. 10-5, not where you want to be, but it's not terrible.
Well, like I said,
comparative to where we are, at least.
The CT economy definitely broken now. You can see after the very close rounds back and forth, they haven't been running them over whatsoever. Michael, like I said, has been quiet, but it's completely stepped it up that round. 3 frags for him, and they could have been 3 of the most important frags here. And it's actually going to be a 4th 5 in TSM, which is interesting. This will knock them onto a full eco going into the next round. So, Scout on Cajun B and Armor. We know how deadly they can be with this sort of buy, so it's definitely justified. But there we go. The man we've been talking about so much takes down Cajun B. That's going to be the Scout player as well. So, nice opening frag, and that's some good information to kind of ascertain how much economy the CT has right now.
And it is going to be a smoke out just to cover off that upper position because Zipnix is there aggressively, but again, you mentioned it, this buy so desperate, but Dupree, again, what a game he's having so far. And now it's Device getting one with the CZ75. TSM looking immaculate right now. Dennis trying to spam back through, catch what he can from it, but so far nothing at all. Dennis, Jack in the Box, down, winds back up and comes immediately back to the upper floor, and they'll bring the bomb back over toward him. They want this site, but look at Zipnik's position.
So look at the 2 guns they've picked up as well. Taking down Fox and Michael, they pick up 2 AWPs. That's so huge as a CT setup.
This shotgun is in such a prime angle, but no one's walking that direction. They've all come into the site immediately, so Zipnix will switch to the pistol, but with the armor, it won't do much. He knows he's low, so now the shotgun from range, if he can hit the right shot, could work wonders for him, and it does. That's very smart by Zipnix, very clever indeed. Unfortunately, though, his teammates haven't had such fate. It's going to be now down to just Freiberg picking up one of those ops that you mentioned, but it's Scream. Man, that guy's good.
He is very good indeed, but that's a round they needed to win. That force buy from the CT is a pretty questionable decision from them. They need to be fully eco. This one, going to the next round, they will have some decent money, but actually saying that, Dupree's gone all in. He's got the Deagle armor. They've got the scouts out again. They fancy this round. They're going to purchase everything they can. They're taking their money right down to 0 again. And that's going to mean that they don't win this round. They're going to have next to nothing once again going into the last round. This is actually pretty questionable stuff from them, but it looks like Kinguin going for something very fast outside now. This would be a great call from them.
Fox is going to lurk. Trying to get closer to the bomb site, and it works. Had to wait for the flames to extinguish. But Freiberg and Device gone. This has turned. This entire half has turned. We could be staring at potentially 10-5. As one recovery of an AK, and Dupree, what? Through the smoke, and he takes down Fox. Okay. I'll give you one. I'm not necessarily going to give you the other 4, but there's a second. There's a third. God. Dupree. What a game this guy's having. It's all possible now. That bomb's been ticking for a while, but he's got very low HP to deal with on Rain, so if he can find the shot on Michael Ailey, there is a real chance, but Rain's still above him. He hasn't spotted him yet, and Rain, oh, how pretty it would have been. It is going to be Kinguin with 4. Yeah,
like you said, amazing game so far from Dupree. 3 more frags on the board for him. It's not really going to matter in the context of the games now because we're going to the last round. T's have got more than enough cash, but it does matter for the CT. You can see Novas, MP9s, Max 7s, Scouts, almost everything they kind of could think of that could be bought for little money, and it's going to be a difficult round for them once again. This is why I said probably an eco would have been the normal option here. We're going into this last round now. Another fast round for Kinguin. Opening frag coming in from Dennis. Freiberg answers back with 2 frags from the Max 7 though. A flurry of frags being exchanged between both teams, but the CTs actually take the advantage here. 3-on-2 situation, and they land a tag onto Michael as well.
Oh, I love it. Fox, good reaction shot through the box, just the edge of it. All he needs to take down Cajun B, but unfortunately his HP now gets diminished, and then salt in the wound because he went to 29 off the first scout shot, 11 after the nade. That's what he's got to work with this op. He's got a lot of space, but that bomb is in the custody of Zipnix. He's trying to use that ladder glitch to spot up his opponent, and I think he has because he's fallen off it. And we saw him just get above it, so there it is. He just waits and use the mag to close out the half. 11-4 TSM, not a bad start at all.
So Freiberg making that mag 7 do work for him. 2 frags there on the outside bomb side. It's pretty impressive stuff. But 11-4 in favor of TSM, a round they needed to win there. It felt like they gave a few too many away with the economy management towards the end. But very strong half of them. We said maybe they wouldn't be so strong here tonight without Carrigan. But it seems like Freiberg's actually not even lighting up the scoreboard too much. He is at the bottom there, but he seems to be fitting in pretty well. And they set themselves up a really decent base for the second half. 11 rounds, 5 needed. Definitely possible from them. They get the pistol. They're in touching distance straight away. Be interesting to see how Kinguin approaches pistol. Whether they're doing something very aggressive, pushing inside, for example, or will they be playing more passive, just allowing the T's to show their tactics before they actually confront them.
Well, this pistol means a lot for Kinguin if they want back in at all. And right now, I was about to say an IP just due to Freiberg, but TSM, they're looking to put a little bit of pressure onto that Ivy position. Meanwhile, though, they've got company, but it works out. They've got the kills. They use that smoke to isolate and take down one, but now they try and rotate into the back alleys. Problem is they're already giving up the bomb site, so that bomb is going to be planted any second. There's still a fight from Dennis, but as he works through and takes down Freiburg, he realizes that KGB's come out from his side, and Cajun's played this very smart. He's just distracted, tempted them, held out a little bit of meat for the Lions, and now he's going to set the trap as he gets back inside the alleyway, and it works out for at least 1 kill. That allows his teammates to get the rest. TSM, 2 straight pistols.
Yep, just a really nice, simple play from them. 1 smoke, isolating one of the choke points out there, getting the entry frags, bomb goes down. CT retake, very difficult in that situation. They got a couple of frags back, but it was a pretty simple round for TSM in the end there. But then we talked about this one being so important. Obviously, if TSM manage to convert these next 2 rounds, they're in a great position. We can see Kinguin actually not opting to buy too much into this round. They have 1 Desert Eagle, 3 USPs there. The Desert Eagle has got armor. It's going to be Michael interesting from him considering he's the AWPer, but here we go. It looks like TSM just going for a straight up inside push here. No messing around, and in they go. It's actually going to be a great call for them. The stack is outside right now.
Price will take down Rain. First is very successful. 4 versus 4 though. SMG's up for at least Device. If he can find a kill, get a little bit of money, be a bonus. Right now though, that bomb has been ticking for a good amount of time, and there it is. Dupree, rather with the SMG, not Device. My mistake. Either way, is going to pick up 2. And it's just left to poor old Michael. And poor old Michael with 36 HP.
Well, he wants to stay this. He's got the Desert Eagle, he's got the armor. He invested a lot into this round. He will go into the next round with absolutely nothing, really. I think he got 1 frag, getting him $300 on the board, but he wants to save that, and he will, so that's good for him. Gives him a chance next round to redeem himself a little bit with that, but what's Kinguin's plan going to be into this? They didn't invest that much into the last round whatsoever. Only 1 player did. Whether they'll bring much to the next round, whether they'll bring some scouts perhaps, is yet to be seen. I guess they're looking to the future here. They want to make sure that when they come to the gun rounds, they actually have a decent amount of cash just to get the AWPs and their stronger players. And it looks like exactly what they'll be doing. They've got some 5.7s there and a Deagle again, but Michael is going to be the only one with armor. As I said, though, Fox has got some as well, but TSM probably going to do something very simple once again. Maybe got the SMGs. Dupree goes straight inside.
Freiburg, though, getting back into Rain after he took down his teammate. Let's bring us back, but Freiburg has lost a little bit of HP, so if you want a silver lining right now for the pistols of Kinguin, well, you can erase it. I was about to say they had the HP advantage, but Freiburg and KGB have swiftly changed that. KGB will continue to add damage against his opponents. Michael will be the last to fall. It's 2 to go for TSM. Henry, how's that prediction?
It's still going really well, actually, thank you. Now they've got the guns on their side. This is it. This is the Kinguin train has arrived. On D train.
TSM has been stuck on 14 rounds in the past.
Yep. Well, they have been known to have struggled to close out some games, but here we go. It's actually going to be a single AWP setup. It's going to be Dennis as well. So we've seen Fox AWP tonight. We've seen Makaleli, and now Dennis is having a go. So it'd be interesting to see how this round goes down. It's definitely set the tone. If the CTs can get some footing back into this, it's definitely viable that they can come back and close this one out. But let's see how it goes down.
Rain's the one that waits. Spots a nade fly by the top of the ramp. Changes his position. Uses a smoke now to cover off Dupree. Another smoke, though, from TSM to isolate. We're going to see this exact same play. Smokes left, attack right, take down Hell. But do they go? They aren't so far. They're actually sitting back. Freiburg's just peeking that angle in case anyone goes for an aggressive play in return, but no one is. Dennis has had time as a result to rotate all the way around, back down to the 3rd alley, and now coming from the right side of the alley. Has position plus no smoke. He's just doing laps now because he's going to go back to CT spawn. Ring around the Rosie, but can Dupree have a pocket full of whatever the word is, Posey. He's going to take down Ray. It is Fox to get one in return. Freiburg, though, contributing, as does KGB. So TSM once again find themselves with the advantage. Dennis still gets a nice shot on Zipnix. Bomb is committed to outer. It's actually dropped down toward main, so Freiburg's going to run back to grab that, but watch KGB's position. He's managed to lurk all the way forward, and Dennis has nowhere to hide when he tries to recover. And Michael late to return from B site will go down. It's match point.
Match point, 15-4, and the CT money is rubbish as well. This is a really scary moment for Kinguin. They go up against essentially a mixed team here. They haven't got the in-game leader of TSM, Freiburg, stepping in for them, and they're getting absolutely battered here as well. So they go into the last round with Famas' scouts, Mag 7. We saw Freiburg step up with that gun in the last half, but when you know you've got so many to go, this one might be considered over at this stage, I'm afraid. But let's see what the CT can do. Seems like 2 players going towards the inside site, and it looks like Michael opening up the fragging as well. Great stuff from him.
Well, that's one way to start it, to push this further. And Rain now with the shotgun. He's come quick on the flank. This Dupree, who's taken down Dennis, become aware of this. Bomb is dropped as well inside the upper tunnels. They haven't realized that because Rain was the one on the flank, but he came immediately from the ladder straight into lower. It won't give him that vision. So Dupree is now free ride to pass to go back and get it, but he's spotted. Rain, oh, I love this. He's going to get so aggressive. He just wants to get hot on his heels so he can use that shotgun. Freiburg, meanwhile, has lurked out or realized it's open, but didn't spot where Michaelele's playing, who's very quick to rotate back if he wants to through Z connector. I actually like the positioning here quite a bit from Kinguin in this 2-on-2. As Rain has ladder, quick to rotate immediately onto a flank. Michaelele has Z-hulls quickly to rotate in a more traditional sense. Freiburg, though, has lurked in very deep. Cleverly gets up the ladder, undetected, back down again as well. But as soon as he comes down, it's Rain. Then Dupree, who uses his teammate as bait, manages to bring it back into a one-on-one. It's very low HP, though, for Dupree, 31, as it is going to be a significant larger margin for Michaelele, almost full, in fact, as he's got the pistol cocked and ready. Perhaps from a call from his teammate that it is going to be a low HP player against him. Dupree's rushed it back to the inner bomb site. Bomb will go down in default, but Dupree's not going to play this. Remember, he's taking damage already. That pistol from a distance, and Dupree has to play so carefully because this scout could be enough, and it is. He's gone. Michaelele, he'll bring 5 rounds to Team Kinguin.
Not as careful as he'd like there, kind of standing in the open towards, I guess it was the all-in play, hoping he'd go down the other side of the trains, but Michaelele does keep them in this game. 15-5 now. It's going to be difficult with all 4 CTs going down there, apart from the last remaining player. They're going to still have a difficult buy. The T's were very strong money. We can see Dupree on 11k there, Cajun B with 8k, so they're going to be aware of this sort of situation. And getting the AWP out of the hands of the CTs as well, it's going to be another impossible round for them. They've got to take everything they've got. That aggressive play we saw on the inside side was good for them. They've got early shotgun kills as well, but they do have a decent resource here. They've got Pharmacist and AK that was saved, but obviously, there's still a very long way away of getting back into this series. 10 rounds to go, they're going to do it.
As the smoke is deployed again, so Cajun B, they're going to go right past it. That first nade, not as much damage as it might have appeared from the perspective at which we saw it, because Cajun B and Freiburg only took a small amount of damage, but Rain's going to give out a heck of a lot more. 2 headshots for him, responded eventually by Zipnik's. 3rd man in has to find that entry kill, though. That's a bit of a problem. But they do get the bomb plant down. 3 versus 3 post plant. Not yet established for TSM. Very open positions for both Zipniks, who now pays the price for it, and Device. But Device has managed to at least find a kill for it, but he can't figure out which target to lock onto next. And as a result, Scream, he's going to win that battle. That door is perfectly placed for that, is it not? They're able to get the fire on top of the bomb, but
I don't have
goes
kits.
to Freiburg. They don't have a kit, but
they're not going to get this.
It's GG. They're calling it already. There will be no balloons at this birthday party.
Did Freiburg throw that from the upper ramp? Is that what he did before he died?
Yeah.
So
It's off the doorway.
He bounced off the door, and that's how he won the round.
brilliant.
So GG there. Freiburg is the MVP of the last round. So interesting result. I don't think one I predicted, obviously. I went for 2-0 Kinguin. So now it looks like...
What were you thinking?
I was trying to be logical. I was working out, okay, they haven't got the...
Well, here's the thing. You try to be logical. We have someone here who is logical. Natsu, what do you think of that game?
To be honest, to be fair, I think the scary thing for Kinguin is they got like 4 more rounds than they maybe even should have on the whole map, considering the first half, and TSM maybe got even too much out of control towards the end, or they were forced buying when they should have obviously saved. But maybe that's one of those things when you don't have Carrigan playing. The cat is out the picture as the Mouses are playing their own games.
I just want to say that I love that you matched your shirt to the backdrop.
He did that especially.
Brilliant decision. It was great. You are a magical person. This is how you fade off into obscurity after a shameful performance at the major. I am being relentless. Let's look at the scoreboard.
Appreciate it, man.
So look, we talked about Dupree going absolutely ham that game. That just explains it so well. Dupree, 23 frags on the server, and the closest player on his team next to him is actually Zipniks. We talked about how influential he's been recently. He's really stepped up. Going over to the Team Kinguin side, we talked about Michaelele being pretty quiet that game. He actually stepped it up. The 4 rounds they got, he was a big part of. He only finished on 9 frags there, but in a 16-4 scoreline, it's difficult to look at the actual individual scores of each player. But dupreeh, I think, definitely the MVP from that map.
I think for Kinguin's sake, they only picked up rounds when they were double opping, and that's a desperation move as well. So all their set strats were pretty much out the window. They had to go for those desperation plays, and Michaelella and Fox getting those both players getting 2 picks was the round where they broke the economy after getting a lot of kills on their own eco round. So
that's the thing. So the economy management from the CT side, like you said, a little bit sloppy towards the end. They actually gave away 2 rounds, I think, just by not ecoing. They could have got themselves another one and made it 12-3, but obviously not really that important considering the scoreline now. There's your MVP, dupreeh on the screen. Massive game by him. Really clever player. Some situations read Kinguin very well. Working out that when they weren't getting their picks, he could read the set piece coming in. And like I said, flashbang out, got 2 frags, and it made them look a little bit silly at times, to be honest.
It's ridiculous that Dennis had that many first kills, and yet they had so few rounds. But marvelous KDA for dupreeh. All started off on that CT side. So it is 1-0 TSM. We move to Dust 2. Again, another map we said would be a toss-up. Really quick prediction before we take a break.
Kinguin will come back.
TSM will wreck it.
All right, you're sticking with your 2-0. I'm sticking with my 2-0. We will take a break. We'll be right back. Dust 2 is next up. Amazing.
We saw them, instead of doing the inside rush, they delayed it a little bit, waited for the CT reaction, saw if there was any aggression, first some decoy towards the Ivy area as well, and then they smoked inside, went down together.
Position, and the first is found. dupreeh swift to act with the initial nade damage. Now the headshot, a second and a third. dupreeh! Beautiful.
Try and step it up here. Their picks haven't been great so far. They get out into the bomb site, they lose a couple of frags, and then they answer back round with a double AWP setup themselves, and this becomes really scary on train. It means you can have one anchor too far gone at that stage. You can see him coming in here. And this is frags he got onto the side, but at this stage,
to get caught. I think he wanted to peek that and fall back down a little quicker, but perhaps jumbled his move. Could Kinguin do the impossible with the Glocks? Not if device.
Michael Lady, like I said, has been quiet. Has completely stepped it up that round. 3 frags for him, and they could have been
the other 4, but there's a second. There's a third. dupreeh! What a game!